You know when you're on the internet and you click on the link to a funny picture, which you then feel the need to share with your Facebook friends, and then you're on Facebook watching a video of a lion attacking a child, which then brings you to YouTube, and before you know it, it's 3 hours later and you're watching cute cat videos on YouTube. Well, I am here today to inform you of the underlying effects that social media can have on a person's brain functions and on their health. Like many young adults, I'm very active on social media, and this seemed like the perfect opportunity to do some research and find out what social media is doing to me. But social media doesn't only affect me. It affects every single person who uses it each day, and I know that many of you do. So today I'm going to inform you of the effects that social media has on your brain functions and on your health. And we're going to start by looking at the way it affects your brain functions. Social media is changing the way we think and the way our brain functions due to a lack of face-to-face communication and an increase in Facebook posts and tweets. In an article by Dr. Daniel Siegel, he really stresses the importance of face-to-face communication. When you have that face-to-face communication, you use a lot of nonverbals, such as eye contact, facial expressions, hand gestures, tone of voice, timing, and many others, which we actually talked about in this public speaking class is very important to use in public speeches. Nonverbals are processed in the right hemisphere of your brain. And I know many of you aren't medical majors, so I'm going to explain this very simply. The right hemisphere of your brain is connected very closely to the lower regions of your brain, which then work with the rest of your body to create emotions. Therefore, face-to-face communication and nonverbals lead to an increase in emotions. When you don't have that face-to-face communication, which is what social media is doing to us today, you use the left hemisphere of your brain more often, not the right, and you have a decrease in emotions. Dr. Siegel's main concern with this is that if we don't exercise the right hemisphere of our brain, it might not function as efficiently. Very similar to when you don't exercise your body physically, your body doesn't function as efficiently. So if we're not using nonverbals and we're not using the right hemisphere of our brain, it's not going to function as efficiently. Reward circuitry is the next way that social media is affecting our brain functions. This sounds very complicated, but it's very simple. It's basically when you do something that makes you feel good or that you get a reward from, and then your brain tells your body to do that again so that you feel good again. Very similar to when you're training a dog to sit. When your dog sits nicely, you give it a treat to reward it and make your dog want to sit again. At the UCLA Brain Mapping Center, they're using fMRI scanners to look at how social media is affecting that reward circuitry. And they found that in participants, when there was a picture on the screen that had a lot of likes, that there was a lot significantly greater activation in the reward center of their brain. So basically, the people felt good just sitting there and looking at a picture with a lot of likes. Lauren Sherman, the head at this center, said that reward circuitry is thought to be particularly sensitive in adolescence, and this could be explaining why teens are such avid users of social media. So because teens feel good from getting a lot of likes on a picture and using social media in general, they're going to continue to use it because of that reward circuitry. Now, not only does social media affect our brain functions, it also affects our health. Social media and the internet are impacting the health of avid users, and the biggest health concern being depression. Social media has caused a loss of face-to-face interactions, which we briefly discussed earlier. Taylor Argo tested the impact of face-to-face interactions versus computer-mediated interactions, and she found them both to be very beneficial to a person's health, but face-to-face communications were much more beneficial. They did another similar study where they found the importance of interpersonal touch, and that it is a basic human need and is a proven mood booster. So just being in the presence of somebody else with that face-to-face communication and being able to reach out to touch them if you want to, that has been a proven mood booster and has helped decrease depression. But since social media has caused that loss of face-to-face communication, there is a link between social media and depression. The next health concern that social media has brought about is through sleep. They found that college students who are on their phone in the evenings and nights when they're supposed to be sleeping suffer daytime tiredness and cognitive impairment. Now, why is this? Why does being on your phone and on social media at night affect your sleep? Dr. Jessica Levinson, a clinical psychologist, found 3 reasons why. 1 being the lighting on your phone, 2 being the content and that it's emotionally engaging and causes your brain to function rather than slow down to get ready for bed, and 3 the timing, that we're on our phone too much in the evenings rather than during the day. It's actually a fact that people nowadays spend more time on their phones and computers rather than sleeping. And the third health impact that social media has on us is internet addiction disorder. It's a real thing. People actually it can cause tremors, shivers, nausea, and anxiety in some cases. In the very extreme cases, the effects of it have been very similar to substance abuse. Now, they link internet addiction disorder to other pathological behaviors such as gambling. Now, why do people get addicted to the internet? FOMO, the fear of missing out. People are afraid to miss out on the big trend that's going on or what their friends are doing, that they need to constantly be on social media to stay up to date. Social media reversion is the inability to quit social media. They did a study where they asked participants to not go on Facebook for 99 days, and they found that many people had a hard time just staying off Facebook for 1 week. I interviewed my younger sister, Christine Wolf, because she gave up social media for Lent this past year. So basically, no social media for 40 days. And she found that the hardest reason why this was a difficult thing was because she was missing out. She was missing out on what her friends were up to. And if something went down on social media, the next day her friends would be talking about it, and Christine would have no idea what was going on because she was not in the loop. So in conclusion, social media has such a huge impact on our lives. Social media is affecting the way our brain functions, it's affecting reward circuitry, and affecting the right hemisphere of our brain. Social media also has an impact on our health, and it can be addictive and can cause depression. So I'm going to leave you with one last thought. The reason that social media took off in the first place is because our brains are naturally very social and want to have that connection with other people. But now, social media is shaping our brains. So what are you going to do to stop social media from taking over your life and taking over your brain?